So the latest targeted capital gains tax announcement from Labour has panicked the real estate cartel's puppets. You know the types I mean. The morning talk radio hosts who get all of their advertising revenue from real estate agencies. Or the government ministers who took the juicy real estate donations that got them to where they are today. It's actually hilarious to watch. Just look at this response that Nicola Willis put out, and bear in mind before you watch this, Labour's targeted capital gains tax plan is only a tax on commercial and investment residential property.
Labour's new tax is an attack on all Kiwis. Just as our economy is starting to recover, Chris Hipkins wants to slap on a capital gains tax. It's a tax on small businesses, on KiwiSaver, on the corner dairy, and the local factory. That's exactly the wrong move when we should be encouraging investment and job creation. National will not introduce a capital gains tax. We're focused on rebuilding the economy, cutting red tape and helping Kiwis get ahead.
So you can sense the sheer desperation in that voice now, can't you? It's sad to see. But when you look at Nicola Willis's pecuniary interests, I think it all becomes a lot clearer now, doesn't it? She has declared a personal interest in 4 residential properties. And that is what she's declared, and probably is all she's got. But bear in mind there was another National MP who, it has been alleged, put 25 properties in a trust but failed to declare any of them as a pecuniary interest. So it's only natural to now question what any of them say. And let's look at what was 7 houses Luxon but is now only 3 houses Luxon. Because he's sold 4 of his houses already and made a fortune in capital gains, has to say about this.
We're talking about people getting wealthier by their houses becoming more expensive over time.
No,
is that the kind of wealth?
No, the way that we need to do is we need to get New Zealand on a really strong growth track, and that's the way that we get people wealthier.
But do you think it's fair that you haven't paid tax on the properties that you've flipped since you've been Prime Minister?
Well, I haven't flipped properties, but it's not about me. It's actually, but it's not about me. It's about New Zealanders, and I'm just saying to you, actually taxing Kiwi businesses is not the way forward. We want to grow Kiwi businesses. We want to back entrepreneurs that want to grow companies and build companies. And actually, this is a tax on every single business in New Zealand. And I just say to you, as I said, Labour used to be for working people. They didn't support tax cuts for working New Zealanders, and now they want to load up more taxes on businesses.
And here is his declared pecuniary interest. And now let's have a look at David Seymour.
I thought it was important to respond to what is one of the perennial issues in New Zealand. Should there be a capital gains tax? Make a number of observations. One is about the general spirit of this law. The proposition is that our problems would be solved if only we were to take more money from other people. And there's a tone that runs through this. Oh, there's lots of exemptions. You won't pay this, somebody else will. And that is the solution to your challenges. I don't believe that's true. We've got to get away from this cultural and political, habits of saying that if there was somebody else put in their place, our problems would be solved.
So he says that the general spirit of the capital gains tax is that our problems will be solved if only we were to take more money from other people. Now he is talking about the rich people who have gained an absolute fortune in tax-free capital gains, but he is ignoring the fact that those very rich people's capital gains come from younger people taking on more and more debt to buy the rich people's overinflated properties. Talk about gaslighting the public, guys. And all of them are. Now let's look at David Seymour's pecuniary interests. Surprise, surprise, another one with a lot of skin in the game. And I would just like to show you this pathetic little attempt that the National Party put out. So if you have a $900,000 batch in Gisborne, like loads of people have got one of them, or if you've got a $550,000 rental in Hawera, you will get taxed on your capital gains from 2027. And if you are one of these tiny proportion of people who've got a $900,000 batch in Gisborne or anywhere else, then it was probably worth $450,000 in 2019, and even they were overinflated prices. And if you own a rental in Hawera, it would have been worth about $250,000 in 2019. So what is your problem? Just sell up, take your gains as they are now, and give a local family a chance of home ownership for once, instead of hoarding everything for yourselves. It is not hard, is it, guys? So yes, this capital gains tax plan is a nightmare for the National Party, because deep down they know that it is a good idea, because it is only targeted at rich asset owners and not targeted at all at your average working man or woman. They are coming out with all these things like it will hurt business owners, but it won't. The lion. Personally, I'm open to all parties. I do wish there was a completely new party that appeared, because I don't like any of the existing parties. But the gaslighting that's shown so far by those who have an enormous conflict of interest is shocking. Now, I'm not a fan of Hipkins, because I think he was part of one of the worst governments that New Zealand has ever seen. I believe that Ardern was a complete disaster for the working people of New Zealand. I believe that she turned her back on the needs of the many people who voted her in pursuit of some fairy tale ultra left-wing woke ideology. And that was a total betrayal in my eyes. But I do have to admit, this capital gains tax announcement is a welcome one. And so will be the landlord-sponsored doctor's visits. Finally, they will be doing something that is good for society. I imagine that they should feel proud of themselves. And if anything has actually come of this announcement, one good thing is that people can finally see how fake Luxon and Willis are with their shallow, self-serving, gaslighting answers. It would be interesting to see what Chris Bishop thinks about this capital gains tax proposal, because he does not seem to be pro-Ponzi, which is good, and he seems to not have the obvious conflict of interest that the others have. Here is his pecuniary interest with just one property. So yes, guys, the dinosaur property Ponzi country destroying parasites have been crying into their cornflakes ever since this announcement. How dare anyone suggest that all of that tax-free capital gain that only appears because some poor young Kiwi has to borrow an absolute fortune should be taxed? The multiple property owners have had it their own way for far too long now. The mainstream media, the government and the RBNZ have always had their backs. And the funny thing is, if they don't want to take the chance that they may be affected by any new capital gains tax rules, all they have to do is put their property on the market and sell up. How easy is that? And before I go, I would just like to play this from Seymour.
If you make money out of property, you already pay more tax because you get your rent and then you pay more tax on that.
So yes, he did just say that. If you make money out of property, you already pay more tax because you get more rent and then you pay more tax on that. So because your house is suddenly worth more for no other reason than the RBNZ manipulated the market, you up the rent. You don't need more rent. You just want more rent because you are greedy. And is he actually saying that we should thank landlords for putting up the rent because they pay more tax on that rent? Is that what he's trying to say? This is the mentality that young Kiwis have had to contend with for so long now. No wonder so many have left. So yes, guys, enough is enough. The National and ACT parties need to understand that most Kiwis see property investors and landlords as the major reason why so many of their young relatives have left New Zealand. So if I were them, I would wake up to this fact and pivot against the Ponzi, and pivot fast, because if they don't, Labour will probably win the next election. So thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next one. Cheers for that.